Hello everyone, I'm Rebecca Keppel. In today's video, I am sharing a bunch of cards made with the latest My Favorite Things card kit, which is called Celebrate You. I don't know about you, but I never seem to have enough birthday cards in my stash, and My Favorite Things kits are some of my favorite on the market. So this was the perfect opportunity to grab a kit that I know I'll love and build up that supply of birthday cards. So first, let's take a quick flip through what's included in the kit. My Favorite Things kits always come with ideas and inspiration sheet as well as the kit contents, and I love that they included some mini Slimline card ideas on this sheet as well as all the cardstock colors so you can reorder if you want. This is the pattern paper pad. It's called Party Time. It's a 6x6 pad, single-sided sheets. There's lots of versatile patterns like stripes and very birthday oriented patterns like candles and balloons. The first stamp set is the Celebrate You stamp set, which has stackable presents and a balloon and then banners. I'm going to share how to use the stamps or the dies alone. And this is the other stamp set, which is It's Your Day, and you use the two stamps to layer up to create a little birthday hat, and I'll show you that as well. Here are all the cardstock colors. I'm not going to list them by name, but they will all come in the kit and they all coordinate perfectly with the pattern paper pad. I got this stamp set free for ordering over $60, I think. Plus they do offer free domestic shipping over $50 as well. And now I'm going to share the cards that I created just to give you some ideas of what you could make too. I've shared before that when I get cardstock in a kit, I like to cut it down. So half of the pieces are 8.5 by 5.5 and half are A2 pieces. This hat from the stamp set, it's a layering stamp, so you have two different layers. You can see the one I did at the top is crooked. That's because I did the little tippy top of the hat stamp first. I think it's a lot easier if you start with the interior stripes of the hat, stamp that first, and then it's easier to line up that little triangle tip at the top of the hat and make sure that everything is nice and lined up. So you'll see that this second one that I created, the sides are nice and in line. There's not a lot of jagged edges, and I like that a lot better. I also love the little candle and flame. They are separate and there are dies that are separate. You can see them up in the top hand corner there. The happy birthday in this stamp set does not have an eye. That's because the candle is supposed to fit there. So I did heat emboss the happy birthday without the eye on some of the gray cardstock from the kit. And I am adding some silver sparkle cardstock. Now that is not in the kit. It is just some of my favorite silver sparkle cardstock. So I always grab it when I get a My Favorite Things kit because they're just a few sheets in the pack. So I just grab one every single time I buy one of their kits. And I love this one because I am just combining some of the dies and the stamps and then just adding some white gel pen details here, making this a very clean and simple card. The thing about this kit that I really love, it is super versatile. It is neither girly nor too masculine. It's neither too cutesy or too elegant. It's just perfect for me. It creates lots of clean and simple looks. So this time I'm just going to use stamping instead of die cutting. So I'm going to stamp the little hat. I learned how to do it now, so it's all lined up, and stamp the little candle. I'm not die cutting those out and then laying them on top. So this could be a nice one layer card, but I did decide to mat it on some pattern paper just to add some fun in the background there. For the next card, I am going to use the balloon from the Celebrate You stamp set. So we're moving on to the next stamp set here, and I'm going to stamp the balloon several times across a piece of white cardstock to make a rainbow, and then use one of those teeny tiny little sentiments from the free stamp set that I got. And then the balloon set does come with a string, so I was able to stamp balloon strings, and I just love these stars. And the colors here are all Catherine Pooler inks, and I love how they sit on top of each other so that the balloons look translucent. You can see the hint of the yellow behind the green, hint of the orange behind the pink, and they look like real balloons. This also comes with some confetti stamps in it as well as the stars. So I did stamp those in a bunch of the colors all over the card background as well, and then layered it on cardstock and then silver cardstock again. For the banner, what I decided to do was cut out all those little banner flags and then put the stamps in a couple of those banners so that I could pick it up with my MISTI and then put the die cut pieces inside. This way I could have the best possibility of lining it up. I still messed up a few of them, honestly, but it got pretty straight. So now I'm using one of the balloon string dies to cut out a rainbow stripe. That's going to be the rainbow stripe that I'm going to hang my banner on. So I just put a little bit of tape runner behind it, and I'm working on my waffle flower water media mat so that I can just peel it up. Even if I got tape runner on the mat, it will just peel right off. I'm going to use some Thermoweb's Ultra Bond liquid glue because these are so teeny tiny. I don't want to try and mess around with trying to put tape runner behind them and just having to do that for all these little bitty pieces. So just a little dab of the liquid glue will hold them in place. For the happy sentiment, I am going to stamp it multiple times on 4 different colors of die cut balloons. So they'll say happy 4 times and then the birthday will be the banner underneath. The thing that I love about pattern paper that I don't get to do when I don't use pattern paper is the sort of 2/3, 1/3 rule. So I have 1/3 of the little stars and then 2/3 of the stripes, and I really love that look on a card. You don't have to, but it is nice to have a border in between those 2/3, 1/3 of pattern papers, and so I am just using some silver sparkle in a little strip to do that. I did pop up the balloons. Everything else is pretty flat to the card, so I thought a little dimension with the balloons would be fun, and then I did die cut some of the stars. So this one is more of a die cut type of card, except for the banner, which I did stamp as well. And this one, I'm going to do the stacked presents just stamped. So I am just going to stamp on some white cardstock in different colors of ink. I am using all the Stamp Market inks for these different colors of presents. And I absolutely, again, love the color combo in this kit because it could be used in a lot of different ways. So I am going with pinks and oranges here. As some of you may have seen in my last few videos, this has been one of my favorite color combos for the summer. And I am going to add a little bit of fun by placing some strips of the diagonal rainbow pattern paper on the side there and then just trim off the edges. This is a great way to make it look like the card was matted without using up a whole A2 piece of pattern paper. So and I am going to mat that on some cardstock, but that I'm not as concerned about when I only have, 2 pieces of this pattern paper, which I really, really like. And now I'm going to do the same type of present, the stack of presents card, but with the dies instead of the stamps. So I did cut out all the present boxes out of star pattern paper and the lids out of 3 different colors of cardstock from the kit. And now I'm just going to stack them up. I love this gray cardstock. It is such a good neutral and just different than using white all the time for a background. And the white with the stars really pops with the color on that background as well. So I am going to heat emboss on that in white because that also pops on that gray color too. The dies also have little confetti pieces. They have different sizes of circles and then these little swirlies that are just fun and cute. So I did use the scraps of cardstock that I didn't need from the present lids to cut them out in confetti. And now I'm going to use Ultra Bond just to put little dots of glue all over the card background in a fun kind of organic pattern and then just lay the confetti on top. I think that's easier than going in and placing a dot of glue behind each confetti and trying to figure out where I want it on the card. So basically I did one color at a time so that I would have a mix, a more organic look to this background where it wasn't like all the blues were in one spot or all the large colors were in one spot, large circles were in one spot. And then I just am using some Tonic Studios Nouveau Crystal Glaze to add a little bit of dimension and shine. Of course, this looks a little opaque right now, but it will dry clear. I did want to do at least one Slimline card, so I have my L ruler from my MISTI to line up that happy birthday sentiment in the center at the top of my Slimline card. And now I'm using an actual T ruler to line up the balloons. So I wasn't exactly sure how I wanted to use the ruler to line them up. I decided to put the little nibs of the balloon just under the lip of the T ruler, and that helped me keep them nice and straight. So with something like this, usually I eyeball things honestly, but with something like this where the balloons will really be noticeable if they're off center, a T ruler is a very cheap way to line them all up. So I did die cut strings and just adhered those down, and now I'm going to mat that onto some craft cardstock. And like I said, I absolutely love the color combos in this kit. It can be be such a clean and simple look and very versatile. I did use a little bit of the sand eraser to get some ink off the top, and then I'm using some Ultra Bond for some die cut stars, one on each of the balloons. Again, really depends on if you know where you want the dot or the star to go as to whether you put the dot on the balloon or on the star. But this one, again, super clean and simple, but very versatile, could be sent to anyone. I hope you enjoyed checking out the latest My Favorite Things kit with me. If you're in the market for a birthday card kit, I highly recommend this one. Since most of us do need birthday cards throughout the year to give and send to friends and family, I thought I would start a playlist, and I'm gonna link to that over here. As always, I wanna thank you so much for stopping by and spending time with me today. Please stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you again soon. It's good to be excited, but sometimes you need to calm down just a little bit, just a touch, just a little bit, Okay. I don't know where I was.